What's the hubbub? Before we jump in hubbub, homies, I wanted to say, rest in peace to the late great New Zealand-born actor and legend Sam Neill, who was most known to older millennial childhoods as Dr. Alan Grant from Jurassic Park, but he had quite a career worth celebrating. Steven Spielberg paid a tribute to his legacy, stating he will never be forgotten. Let's get to the main hubbub now. We are going to cover some rumors and updates on the DCU Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman 2, Man of Tomorrow, Blue Beetle, Lanterns, and Clayface. That's right, we have an active DC-verse that's just started a foundation primarily on the Superman family. I think that's fitting, as Superman is DC. Hell, Superman is the superhero genre. Haters of the DCU and James Gunn want you to accept a movie-verse runway shorter than an alley home driveway. So Gunn gets a verse runway of only 2 movies? One did pretty well in Superman as it beat all 3 Marvel movies in 2025 and was the only superhero movie of that year to pass $600 million. Supergirl flopped. Yes, it did. It actually dropped at least 70%, which is a shame. I saw a social media comment state at its worst, it is an average to good film. Yet even in a best-case scenario, it wasn't expected to do Spider-Man type of numbers outside of a Marvel joke meme poking fun at her not being as popular by joking Supergirl would beat Spider-Man box office. You didn't see a lot of DCU fans expecting it to do amazing numbers. Of course, months before it came out, you had a large right-leaning anti-woke agenda rage-baiting against it. There will be people that held off who will stream it and search for what was woke coming up empty. Unfortunately, when half the country is Republican, false information politically on movies can hurt outcomes, regardless if it's used for clicks as the fall of the DCU by those rooting against it. Supergirl wasn't a huge swing. She is not even a member of the original Justice League and not part of the DC Trinity A-list heroes such as a Wonder Woman is. The DCEU had 10 years and 15 movies. The DCU movieverse is just starting with the Superman saga, as Gunn holds off on using a DCU Batman to give Matt Reeves space on his Batverse. Next year, Man of Tomorrow is the 3rd movie. He should at least get his version of Batman off the ground and a Justice League film first, but the haters that spend their time on restoring the Snyderverse hopes don't consider what's logical. Please subscribe to the hubbub, by the way, so you can be kept in the loop of when new videos are up. Tap the notification bell and join the civil debate community here. On Man of Tomorrow, Jennifer Holland, who is married to director James Gunn, has publicly praised his upcoming DC Universe film Man of Tomorrow, the sequel to 2025's Superman. She stated the superhero epic could be Gunn's best movie to date, surpassing even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. She has already screened a significant portion of the film. The upcoming blockbuster stars David Corenswet as Superman and is scheduled to release in theaters on July 9, 2027. Obviously, we can't confirm it's an objective take due to their relationship, but it's hard not to get excited when I piece together different things I've been hearing about it. Let's continue on to some DCU updates and rumors with more on Man of Tomorrow. From a Dark Horizons scooper I've shared from before, apparently James Gunn has toyed with the idea of a massive multi-saving Superman scene, inspired by X-Men Apocalypse speedster Quicksilver moment, where he basically saves everyone. If this is true, it sounds more like a Flash Speed Force moment to me, but I do remember in Smallville they do those type of scenes fairly often. I'd be excited to see something showing Superman reach his prime. If this is true, it could draw comparisons to the Batman vs. Superman court explosion scene, but then in Justice League, suddenly Superman did those Speed Force slowdown type moments and even stared down the Ezra Miller Flash, who was surprised by his eyes following his speed, as he never saw anyone else that fast. It's a fun scene, but inconsistent to the verse established. If he could do that, the explosion should have been stopped in Batman vs. Superman. But let's be real, the Justice League heroes battling each other was basically another catch-up to the Avengers, who did their own Shakespeare in the Park rendition. Another rumor surrounding the Man of Tomorrow movie is James Gunn basically wants to bring the style more to the center. Superman at this stage has become stronger and more confident, and with Brainiac is going to see another level of heightened challenges his way. He's becoming the leader that heroes need, all for a build into something greater. It's going to be his largest attempt at scaling towards an epic feel, as he needs to lead in towards a future Justice League movie. We are going to get more superheroes introduced. Speaking of which, while Blue Beetle was getting made before Gunn was on board to lead the DCU, he decided it could exist without conflicting with his new verse. It was a well-received movie, and it's being reported that we may see an appearance of the Blue Beetle in Man of Tomorrow. Yet, we are still waiting on a DCU Batman. As I mentioned in my last video, this has been the cash cow of DC movies, an ace up the sleeve. The fact that Gunn hasn't rushed Batman in favor of a Superman saga speaks volumes to the respect he's giving Matt Reeves and intention of not a quick move to catch up to Marvel. He saw the mistakes of the DCEU and isn't chasing that path. Make no mistake about it also, Gunn is over Elseworlds and he could have let it implode. Instead, he's being credited for moving Reeves along to get Batman 2 happening. Recently, the Batman 2 got an update of releasing now about 4 months later than planned. No, it doesn't mean it's been cancelled. It means instead of in October, they are releasing it the following February instead. This doesn't mean the movie is in any trouble. In fact, you can partially thank Gunn that it finally started getting into production. Reeves announced the new opening date on Vimeo, accompanied by the first camera test footage of Robert Pattinson's return as the Dark Knight. Joining Pattinson in the long-delayed sequel are Scarlett Johansson and Sebastian Stan, plus Game of Thrones actor Charles Dance, Brian Tyree Henry, and Sebastian Koch. Reeves co-wrote the sequel's screenplay with Mattson Tomlin. Many Snyder Bro channels like Harsh Critics and Aaron Fisher said it would be cancelled, and now they are wrong. Batman 2 is filming officially. If it's a successful movie, he will get some credit for breaking Reeves out of the stall. On a Reeves Batman sequel rumor, by the way, it states Scarlett Johansson may be playing Poison Ivy. A Forbes article broke this down. Scarlett Johansson is the main villain of the Batman Part 2, a killer obsessed with plants murdering the elite of Gotham with toxins. This would obviously be Reeves' take on a grounded Poison Ivy, one who isn't whipping sentient vines around. Let me know in the comments below of what you think about her in this role. As for the DCU Brave and the Bold Batman, we are still seeing wide-ranging rumors on casting possibilities. John Campea said he's heard a name may already be cast. Some have pegged that as being Tom Brittney as his Batman. He screen-tested well for Superman, and Gunn praised him previously. But then there's a conflicting rumor from Jeff Snyder that swung back to him being in his 50s, and it's back to looking at actors like Jon Hamm. In previous rumors, I thought Jacob Elordi would be a solid choice, and Brandon Sklenar was rumored before and could be interesting. Glenn Powell has tried to put his name into the ballot box previously, as he loves Batman. He wants to play a wild new version of the hero in the DC universe. He would not copy the dark, gritty style of Matt Reeves' movies. Instead, he wants his Batman to feel like the classic, fun take that actor Michael Keaton played in the 1989 film. Of course, many have pegged him as the ultimate Booster Gold choice. Regardless of who is ultimately cast, though, it's a quick way to get a boost to the DCU for the box office. Batman just is the largest DC draw, and as much as I love Superman, that's a fact. Gunn has not rushed to pull that trigger, but it's in his back pocket. When 2013 saw Man of Steel underperform for its time, it was only the first DCEU movie, and they scratched the Brainiac-led sequel in favor of Affleck as Batman to get box office help. It didn't, however, build a good foundation. It was a horribly panned movie that won Razzies for being putrid. It wasn't even a billion-dollar film using the biggest DC giants in one movie during the superhero genre boom era. The Snyder Bros DCEU diehard fans just don't seem to get. We are in a different era now for both the genre and film industry as a whole. A full-on rehabilitation attempt for DC movies in a tougher market overall. To Lanterns discussion. According to insider Jeff Snyder, initial reactions from the specialized press to the first 4 initial episodes of Lanterns are starting to circulate, and it all points to a very solid start to the series. The critics' consensus is clearly favorable. In fact, the most negative opinion so far barely qualifies it as correct, a sign that James Gunn's Green Lantern's DC Universe debut would be meeting and even exceeding expectations. On Clayface, early test screenings for the upcoming DCU Clayface film are very positive. Viewers rate the R-rated horror movie highly. They praise the intense body horror, emotional stakes, and actor Tom Rhys-Harris. The film is being praised early as an impressive and grotesque body horror masterpiece, so there's a lot to unpack here for the DCU still. Plenty of positive items and no reason to call for its demise this early in. I think it's a shame the anti-woke agenda of right-wingers affected and suppressed viewership, but eventually people will figure out it's a stupid grift. They can't even name what's woke about it, thus showing it as just basically a fake label. Masters of the Universe, which Supergirl recently passed at the box office, was also a well-liked movie that bombed. It faced erroneous allegations for being woke early on and turned some people away. The live-action Masters of the Universe film faced woke accusations due to a controversial nameplate gag in the trailer. The scene shows Prince Adam on Earth with an office desk nameplate reading, "Adam Glenn, he/him." This sparked backlash from some fans who felt it injected modern political messaging into the classic fantasy franchise. The pronoun joke was just a fun pun on He-Man, but they have to read into it, in the worst ways of course, that, as well as many anti-woke grifters, tried to paint a picture of them poking fun at toxic masculinity months before seeing the movie. You can't just keep falsifying what something is before seeing it. While the Snyderverse fans aren't specifically responsible, it's fair to say of the far-right Republicans responsible for anti-woke fake-ass messaging, if there are Snyder bros, they tend to lean that way politically. We expect the minority of Snyder bros to churn out manipulation, but we've got a whole right-winger side of the country so focused on what's woke, they are flopping decent movies that never had an agenda. Larger channels like Nerdrotic and The Critical Drinker do work as influencers and can suppress ticket sales if they target someone. Could they at least wait till after seeing a movie and explain what is actually woke about it as a movie? They both took aim at Millie Alcock over out-of-context remarks and farmed engagement out of it. Yes, she mentioned Christian dads, but only to say it's ironic when profiles of them are insulting and harassing her, as that's acting anything but Christian. She also joked that maybe Supergirl would go both ways.
What makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man, it's not centered around love at all, if anything. But we'll see. I don't really know, but I don't know. I don't know. She'd probably go both ways.
If you watch the clip, it's literally a joke to her broader point that the movie isn't one with romantic side plot in general. The film adapts the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic. It focuses strictly on raw survival and vengeance in space. It avoids the traditional love triangle tropes seen in typical superhero movies. I saw a social media comment that spoke to the treatment of Supergirl. It's really sad that grown men and women are making fun of Millie Alcock. The media and right-wing agitators were picking her and the movie apart long before it came out. What you don't realize is that these superhero movies are what our next generation of little girls are watching and looking up to. Not all little girls love Barbies. Saying this actress isn't good enough or pretty enough should make you question, what is that doing to the young girls who love Supergirl? Body image and bullying is a huge issue, particularly for girls and young women. Middle-aged fathers being a part of this is pathetic. Next, let's talk about an update on the Paramount buyout of the WB. A coalition of attorneys general making up 12 states has come together to sue and stop the merger of Warner Brothers and Paramount. These include Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, and Washington. 4 of these 12 states are also the 4 richest of the USA. Some rumors suggest, with the antitrust concerns, the hurdles may delay it substantially, and industry experts are saying it may set up a court fight that could push the closing past October and into the window where the ticking fee of a daily $7 million bites. A federal judge would ultimately decide whether to grant an injunction blocking the merger while the case is heard, and states have won such fights before, even when Washington declined to act. In a worst-case scenario, due to financial pressures of a delay, it could even terminate the whole deal by 2028 if the continued debt is bleeding Paramount out. Also recently, the Writers Guild filed a lawsuit towards blocking the merger. There are a lot of concerns surrounding it. We've covered a lot today, and please remember to subscribe. What do you guys think about the rumors going on, and do you think the Paramount deal fully closes? How about your thoughts on good movies getting flopped by anti-woke far-right grifting? Let's see the fake outrage flopping attempts end sooner than later. Otherwise, false information is going to keep hurting the cinema world in general. With that, it's today's hubbub. No Snyderverse, no problem.